My name is Joshua Samuels. I graduated in 2019 from Washington College with a major in biology and psychology with a concentration in neuroscience. And currently I am a postbac at the NIH within the National Institute of Mental Health, conducting research.
How did you identify the program that you're in right now?
So I initially found it through my summer research internship at Rutgers. They introduced me to this NIH postbac program, and then I pursued it through the beginning of my senior year at Washington College and went through the entire application process and interviewing process, and eventually landed a lab somewhere in January of my senior year for that summer.
And what type of work you're doing at the NIH?
So currently I'm doing research within the lab of Dr. Miles Herkenham, and we look at neuroimmunology, or kind of how the nervous system and immune system interact. And in our case, especially in psychiatric disorders, because we are in the Mental Health Institute, so looking a lot at anxiety and depressive-like disorders and how the immune system may actually be contributing to the progression and actually recovery from these disorders, especially in the brain and vascular systems.
And are there any classes or maybe other experiences at Washington College that you feel like have helped prepare you for what you're doing now?
Overall, the entire class structure, I think, really prepared me. And again, this is because coming from or being in this neuroimmunology kind of focused lab, it's very interdisciplinary. And I think the wide breadth of classes you're able to take at Washington College and the depth that they go into really kind of gave me a strong background for just science in general. So that really helped, along with the kind of the lab components of all of these classes, really gave me a good understanding of like kind of how to function in a lab, how to ask questions, how to go about answering these questions, and really kind of gave me some skills in how to think like a scientist moving forward that have really helped me in now this case where I'm kind of fully engrossed in research.
Speaking of your time at Washington College, what sorts of fond memories do you have of your time as an undergraduate?
Yeah. One of my best memories is probably just the senior capstone experience as a whole. Being able to do a research SCE really just threw me into the deep end with research, allowed me to conduct my own research project, think of my own questions, plan everything, construct a treadmill, kind of really be creative in how I answer the questions and kind of go about research as a whole. And again, comes back to thinking like a scientist. But being able to do this at Washington College was super unique and really set me apart, I think, from a lot of other students who didn't have these opportunities moving forward in this research atmosphere.
How do you feel like the challenges you faced through your SCE have helped you?
I think I was in the planning phases for months and months. So, and again, that's exactly how research actually happens. I never realized that until I went through my SCE. It's not as linear as you kind of see in a typical class lab experience. That's all planned for you, so it's easy. But when you actually go into full-on research, you're going to hit bumps along the way probably 10, 15 times before you make something happen, work at least. So, and definitely now I've been able to kind of work on a couple protocols here that have not gone well to begin with, and I've kind of been able to, because I've have experienced these bumps and hurdles and how to overcome them. I've been able to work with these protocols and kind of tweak them, go back in the individual parts and do a bunch of tests and kind of understand that that's part of research, and it's okay. It's not something to kind of get worked up about and kind of feel terrible, because it's going to happen, and being able to kind of overcome those challenges is kind of what sets you apart as a researcher in a sense.
You've talked a little bit about your experience doing your SCE. Is there anything about which you maybe feel any nostalgia when you think back on your time at Washington College?
I guess my main nostalgia doesn't come necessarily from my SCE, but my time as a soccer player, frankly. And that's kind of where the other half of my heart lied, not only in science, but also like kind of on the soccer field. But the main I guess most fond memory that I have from this is the fact that I would be on the soccer field playing a game, and I could look up in the stands and see my classmates, my biology classmates. I could see my professors in the stands supporting us, and it was great to kind of know that these close knit relationships that Washington College boasts, they really exist, and you really form this supportive culture between academics, athletics, and again, even other clubs and organizations. Like everything is so close knit, and the culture is really supportive. So that's probably one of my favorite memories, just being able to look up in the stands and see all of my faculty and professors up there.
Do you feel like being an athlete, did it make academics more challenging, or do you feel like in some ways it actually helped you do well academically?
That's always the age old question: is does academics or athletics help? And I definitely think it did. It taught me, and again, taught me right off the bat that I had to manage my time. Again, being able to, I always go back to the semesters. I think there were 2 or 3 where I was taking 4 biology or 4 biology, chemistry, psychology classes that all had labs. So I was taking 4 classes, 4 labs. I was in season, and I was able to manage all of that again through like time management skills and planning. So being an athlete definitely kept me on my toes in a sense that I had to obviously perform well, but I also had to perform well um, academically, and it gave me the ability to kind of manage everything. And going forward, again, project management is huge in research. I'm currently probably on or running 3 or 4 projects that overlap time wise, and you have to be able to plan somewhat months in advance, so you can easily, or I guess, like, not back up and aren't coming in on weekends and running yourself dry. So that definitely, being an athlete and an academic scholar definitely helped my preparation and kind of ability to manage time and projects.
Could you describe maybe the evolution of your thought process that has led you to your current career trajectory?
My passion for research kind of began my freshman sophomore years at Washington College in the psychology department with Dr. Michael Kirchner, and I believe at the time Christopher Beasley, doing just very basic psychology research into, frankly, nothing that relates to what I am doing now. But again, that was just really sparked my interest in research and my ability to use it to just answer my own questions and kind of ask different things and try to figure them out. That then evolved as I pursued a research internship at Rutgers over the summer, one of my summers. Again, and this kind of honed me a bit more into neuroscience per se. And this really helped me find a love for the lab. Again, I really didn't have that experience of being in a full-on research lab. And over the summer at Rutgers, I really felt that. And I really fell in love with kind of that lab atmosphere and the ability just to be surrounded by great minds and thinkers alike. And then transitioning into my SCE, my senior year, that's where I guess I found out that I absolutely love research. Because again, I was able to plan, conduct, develop everything that you would need to do for a research project. I got to do all of it on my own, basically. And this really helped me determine that research is definitely a passion of mine and something that I want to pursue going forward. I want to be able to ask questions and try to answer them and hit roadblocks and overcome them. I want to be able to do all of that, and then obviously help broaden science and maybe help patients, help people in the long run.
What would you like to say about your current career and how a degree in biology or a Washington College education in general helped you get there?
So engaging in research, interesting high-level research is obviously, I guess, in my opinion, the heart of what a research career is. But I've kind of come to realize that being able to effectively convey that science is quite honestly and quite possibly probably more important than just being able to do it. Again, if you can't tell someone or show it or express it, like, you really can't do it in a sense. So luckily at Washington College, actually, and predominantly in the biology department, that enabled really me to strengthen confidence and hone my scientific communication skills, I guess through multiple class presentations, research poster presentations, whether that be in the Toll Atrium or at external conferences, as well as kind of research manuscript like writing opportunities from labs and classes all the way up to like the final SCE. Really prepared me for how to effectively communicate my science, and gave me good practice in that because again, now that I'm at the NIH, I've given so many presentations and I feel very, very confident kind of stepping up and talking to hundreds of faculty about my science.